Soraya Vukalik. Supermodel Soraya Vukalik became famous as the Serbian Playmate of the Year in 2011. But the blonde bombshell also made headlines for submerging a Lamborghini while on holiday in 2019. According to Vukalik, she was wearing heels behind the wheel of a Lamborghini when her foot slipped, causing her to miss the brake pedal and plunge the blue high-end sports car into a pool. She posted footage of the smashed-up Lambo being lifted from the water in a harness after the ordeal, which happened when she was vacationing in Cannes along the French Riviera. It was clear based on the video that the luxury vehicle had suffered body damage. Instead of being embarrassed about the expensive mishap, Vukalik took an open approach with her fans, captioning her post, "When your high heel slips from the brake and the Lambo ends up in the pool." Commenters were equally humorous in their responses, with one social media user writing, "Don't worry, it happens to everyone," while another fan quipped, "It's an easy thing to do when it's someone else's money." 10. Monique Munoz. A Los Angeles woman's life was tragically cut short last year when a Lamborghini SUV ran a red light and struck her vehicle as she was making a left-hand turn. Monique Munoz was just 32 years old when she died at the scene. The vehicle's data recorder revealed that the 17-year-old driver was traveling at 86 miles an hour, 138 kilometers per hour, in a 35 mile an hour, 56 kilometer per hour zone at the time of the crash, and that he had his foot 100% on the gas pedal. He was arrested on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter. Shortly after the tragedy, the Los Angeles Police Department LAPD tweeted that the wreck was a reminder for everyone to slow down. Monique's family fought for the wealthy teen to be charged and prosecuted as an adult, and they urged the judge to sentence him to the maximum. Sadly, he was sentenced to just 7 to 9 months at a juvenile camp. He apologized to the family, stating that he was deeply sorry from the bottom of his heart. Regardless of whether the young man meant what he said, Monique's loved ones were left with a lack of closure. Speaking with reporters outside the courthouse, her uncle Richard Cartier described the outcome as a lollipop sentencing, which he said was devastating to the family. They filed a civil lawsuit against the driver's family and were awarded an $18 million settlement. While it didn't bring their daughter back, it was a step toward justice that wasn't afforded to them through the traditional legal system. 9. Matt Heller. An angry driver went viral last year after she allegedly rear-ended a black Lamborghini being driven by a TikToker named Matt Heller. He posted a video of the woman approaching him in his car and accusing him of hitting the front end of her vehicle at a red light. Heller also shared surveillance footage from a nearby gas station that appeared to show the woman's vehicle crashing into his Lambo. The clip went viral and quickly gathered over 40 million views. And at first, it seemed pretty clear who the guilty party was in the situation. But the woman, named Maddie, posted some videos of her own, claiming that the collision happened when she refused to turn at an intersection during a yellow light. She said that Heller clipped her car when he went past her and tried to turn, at which point the traffic light had turned red. Maddie warned her lawyers would soon serve the man with lawsuit paperwork, accusing him of slander. The footage she posted appeared to show Heller driving slowly past her Audi before almost hitting a bicycle rider in the crosswalk. It looks as though the Lamborghini got scratched, showing that Maddie may have been telling the truth about how the collision happened. At the very least, the evidence suggested that Heller wasn't as innocent as he seemed based on the video he posted. It remains unclear who hit whom. 8. A costly carjacking. As North America experiences a disturbing spike in carjackings, a group of thieves recently stole a black Lamborghini Urus during a home invasion in downtown Toronto. Unfortunately for the robbers, the car was equipped with a tracking device. Officers soon found the ill-gotten vehicle parked outside a residence in the city's Etobicoke neighborhood, 9 miles, 15 kilometers from where it was taken. They took one suspect into custody and tried to track down another suspect with the help of their K9 unit, but he remains at large. Police Inspector Paul Krawczyk told reporters that there may have been more than 2 suspects involved. Speaking with the Toronto Sun, a witness said that the Lamborghini had come right up behind his vehicle before the driver slammed on the brakes and then swerved into oncoming traffic like a maniac. He was surprised that the reckless driver didn't crash into anyone. The victim was with police at the recovery scene, but they couldn't disclose whether the individual was in the car when it was stolen. A spokesperson confirmed that the victim was not injured during the burglary. Writing for CTV News, journalist Chris Fox reported that the cheapest Lamborghini Urus sells for around $250,000, and that some versions of the vehicle come with a price tag of more than $400,000. 7. An unauthorized joyride. Mikhail Varshavsky, better known as Dr. Mike, became famous in 2015 when People magazine named him the sexiest doctor alive. But he recently made headlines for a much different reason, after a New York City parking garage attendant took his Lamborghini Urus for a 5-hour joyride without permission. The worker allegedly stole the $320,000 vehicle, which Dr. Mike bought last year around 1 a.m. and drove it all over the Big Apple. It defeated the purpose of keeping the car inside a monitored garage at the owner's apartment building in Manhattan's Hudson's Yard neighborhood, where it was supposed to be safe from theft, vandalism, and other crimes. The thief's co-workers learned of the theft after other people who kept their cars in the garage went to retrieve their vehicles but couldn't find the attendant. Security guards reviewed surveillance footage to find out where the employee had gone. Once they realized he was out joyriding in the Lambo, they waited several hours for him to return. He arrived back at the garage sometime between 5 and 6 a.m. An NYPD license plate check on traffic cameras revealed that the thief drove the Lambo all the way into Staten Island, crossing both the Williamsburg and Verrazano Narrows bridges. Dr. Mike was informed of the incident later that day. No arrests had been made when news of the theft broke, and when the New York Post contacted Dr. Mike, he had no comment. 6. Rick Van Stippent. Dutch millionaire Rick Van Stippen was driving his Lamborghini Aventador on the A28 highway in the Netherlands earlier this year when he lost control of the vehicle and got into a terrifying crash. The 29-year-old was on his way to a car show with a friend when the accident occurred, leaving a long trail of tire marks in the Lambo's wake. Thankfully, nobody was hurt and no other vehicles were involved. Van Stippen wrote on Instagram that he was physically fine, but mentally shaken by both the crash and losing his beautiful car. Witnesses told photographer and web designer Stefan Verkerk that the car was going really fast when it veered out of its lane, hit a barrier, and then spun around several times before coming to a stop 320 feet, 100 meters down the road. The vehicle's front and rear were heavily damaged, along with the highway's barriers. Debris was scattered across the road, delaying traffic in both directions while workers cleaned up the mess. Van Stippen denied he was speeding, calling the allegations nonsense and saying that the tire mark should prove that he was not going faster than he should have been. 5. Destructive delivery truck. A lot of Lamborghini owners store their beloved luxury cars in places where they're safe from damage. But some people actually drive their Lambos, including one owner whose custom Aventador was destroyed recently outside his Beverly Hills home. The vehicle was parked in the man's driveway when a delivery driver lost control of their truck and crashed into the Lamborghini. The truck's brakes apparently failed, causing it to barrel down the road into the car and into the owner's $12 million home. News outlets reported that the vehicle belonged to a professional athlete, and it was worth more than $1 million. Besides destroying the Lamborghini and damaging the house, the truck collided with the homeowner's Bentley, turning it into a jumbled heap of metal, as well as a Maybach, which sustained slightly less damage. There was no hope for the Lamborghini or the Bentley, which were both reportedly flattened by the truck, leaving them practically unrecognizable. Local towing firm Pepe's Towing Service filmed their recovery effort and posted the video on YouTube. The footage shows workers painstakingly prying the truck off the crushed Lamborghini, which was wedged beneath its front end. Thankfully, the owner was not left without a vehicle. Both his Range Rover and McLaren were left untouched. While the Lamborghini was clearly damaged beyond repair, it still sold for an undisclosed amount, most likely for parts. 4. Depressing Artwork. Lamborghini lovers were left feeling emotionally torn earlier this year after an artist by the name of Schloms blew up a Lamborghini Huracan in a disturbing stunt called Dollar Car. He strapped explosives to the car and towed it to an undisclosed location in the desert somewhere in the US before having a professional explosives engineer blast it to smithereens. The Huracan was left in over 1,000 pieces. Several news outlets mistakenly reported that Schloms blew the car up in a bizarre protest against cryptocurrency culture. He told Fortune that the explosion was carried out as a demonstration against greed and short-termism in the cryptocurrency world, and that a team of around 100 people worked together to make it happen. But the message got lost in translation for many people, who considered the destruction of a $200,000 to $300,000 car to be completely senseless. Not all was lost, however. Schloms announced he planned to auction off the many pieces of the destroyed Lambo as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, which he believes are a positive technology that could be used for the public good. 3. Aushalik Sweat. A vehicle owner in Cliffside Park, New Jersey, learned the hard way to always lock his cars when his Lamborghini Huracan, Mercedes G-Wagon, and BMW X7 were all stolen from his property earlier this year. He told police that all the car's key fobs were in one vehicle and that his garage door was open when he fell asleep and awoke to find his cars gone. All 3 vehicles were soon located and examined by authorities, who matched a fingerprint on the BMW to a 22-year-old man from Newark named Aushalik Sweat. Records revealed that the young man was no stranger to stealing cars or to crime. He already had an extensive rap sheet, which included getting into a police chase while behind the wheel of a stolen vehicle 4 years earlier. An arrest warrant was issued and police captured Sweat in Newark. He was charged with burglary, theft, and conspiracy. A judge set him free less than 24 hours later because of the state's bail reform laws, which abolished New Jersey's cash bail system in 2017. The new system allows most defendants who are accused of non-violent crimes to go free while their cases play out in court. Shortly after Sweat's arrest, authorities took 29-year-old Outarag Makiri into custody on suspicion of being an accomplice in the vehicle thefts. He also faces the same charges as Sweat and was also released on his own recognizance. 2. Daria Radionova. Russian Instagram model Daria Radionova's affinity for Lamborghinis initially made headlines when she covered her black Aventador with 2 million Swarovski crystals. Sadly, the 26-year-old's jewel-encrusted luxury car reappeared in the media late last year after it was destroyed in a crash in London. In an Instagram post featuring a photo of the badly damaged vehicle, Radionova revealed that she wasn't in the Lambo when the accident happened. It's unclear who was in the car, which looked like it had been rear-ended. The devastated bombshell offered a cash reward to anyone who offered information about a blue car that was allegedly involved in the collision. Recent photos of Radionova's prized possession from before the crash were taken in a location that looked similar to the accident site. While it's certainly upsetting any time a Lamborghini gets destroyed, the damage to the blinged-out Aventador was especially disappointing. Over 700 hours of work went into applying the crystals to the one-of-a-kind car, and the work was done painstakingly by hand, which can only mean that repairing or replacing it would be unavoidably expensive and time-consuming. 1. DDG. The famous rapper Daryl Granberry, better known as DDG, recently found himself in hot water when LAPD officers pulled him over in his Lamborghini for driving recklessly. But things became a lot more serious than a traffic offense when the cops searched the man's vehicle and found a gun. They charged the Michigan native with felony possession of a concealed weapon. He was released on a $35,000 bond, which might sound like a lot of money, but probably wasn't much to a man who reportedly makes at least $30,000 per month. DDG is set to return to court at the end of June, where he'll hopefully get his legal issues sorted out and stay out of trouble in the future. The up-and-coming star has said little about his arrest and has mostly been tweeting about his music, suggesting he'd rather be known for his talent than his mistakes, and that he perhaps plans to handle the matter quietly. Thanks for watching. Would you rather be blamed for crashing into someone's brand new Lamborghini, or go back to school and earn no grades higher than a C? Let me know in the comments below.